Dorothy. And thank you, Patience, for the opportunity to do this presentation, this webinar to women in leadership. This presentation actually is a concise or a condensed form of a 4-day workshop that I run for various organizations and for various groups. I have done it a couple of times for the leadership in banking, so at the National Banking College, and we've managed to squeeze it into 2 days. But what happens is that we leave out a lot of the elements because of the exercises, just so that we can make it in the time. This is really an intro to the workshop that I run, and subsequently, I will be doing it. I'll be doing the 4-day workshop. So if you're interested, that would be a paid workshop, and I will let you know, and then you can sign up. But this is an intro that covers all of it, or maybe the first 2 days that covers the elements of growth and leadership. I mean, leadership by itself is something we grow into. Some people are born leaders, but some of us are thrust into it. But really, whatever it is, it's life, and life you must grow into. I would like to start sharing my screen. Let me see. Some of us are technologically challenged, but I'm sure that I'll be able to do that. Let me open the screen first. And then bear with me for 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this workshop really is supposed to enable you to live life as you want it. I mean, if you're living life as you want it, you are in lead as a woman. In whichever way you look at it, it's some form of leadership, even self-leadership. And most times we feel challenged as women leaders because we may be new to leadership, or sometimes we don't think we have the tools. We may have the skills, we may have the knowledge, but we don't have the tools because you realize that you yourself have not grown through the process to become the leader that you have been positioned as. So a lot of us women tend to suffer something imposter syndrome because we have not grown through the process. You've been thrust into the process. You've been positioned as the leader, but we we keep growing. So you question yourself sometimes. You think that you don't have the tools to manifest your new role as a leader. So you have something called imposter syndrome. So what does that growth involve? So when you're growing, you grow one, we say you shift from pathology to vision. So when you're what it is you place your attention on the ills, on the bad, on something that went wrong, on the past. And what we place our attention on is what becomes bigger. When you are looking at something and you're focused on it, it starts to look bigger to you. We are, I'm assuming all of us are Christians on this platform. When you focus on your problem, the problem grows bigger than your God. So what we say here is in order to grow, you must shift your attention from the problem, from the pathology, to the vision or the dream or what you want to happen, what you dream of in the future. what you want your leadership to be, what impact you want to have, you must play, that is where you must place your attention, not on where you are or where you've gone past or things that went wrong in your growth process. Water the seeds and not the weeds. So because we are pathology based, we tend to focus on what went wrong. Focus on your full potential, focus on the ideal, if you like. And sometimes people say, oh, you are an idealist, you should be a realist. If you are a realist, we'll come to that, but you are stagnating, you stagnate. If you can just give me a moment, I was expecting someone and I'm on a webinar, so just come in, please.
Okay, I'm at so just let anybody come.
I'm sorry. So we focus on the seeds. When you look at those two pictures on the side, you can see an onion growing out of the ground and seeds. When we go into our garden and we focus on the weeds, we only see the weeds that are growing and we try to uproot them. If we also want to focus on the seeds, then you must think about watering. Sometimes you think, hey, if I water, then more weeds will come. But that is because you're focusing on the weeds. But while weeds are coming, the seeds, which are the onions, are also growing. So don't focus so much on only pulling up the weeds, but also focus on the seeds that are growing. So it says, know your weeds, but also focus on your seeds. That is the act. That is the vision. You want to see growing onions. You want to see growing weeds, but you cannot just try to kill the weeds, kill the bad, and focus on only the good. So stop watering the weeds in your life and start watering the flowers. So self-empowerment is seeking the solution rather than fixating on the problem. It says you don't get rid. This is Hillary Clinton. It said every moment spent looking back keeps us away from moving forward. Or there's a saying that you cannot move forward by looking in your rear view mirror. So growth is looking forward towards your vision, not looking in your rear view mirror as what you've just gone past. You focus on it. And if we talk about Lot's wife, for example, said Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. The more we look back, the more we are likely to turn into pillars of salt. You stagnate. So growing again is moving from static to organic growth. If you focus on static to organic growth, you are moving. Static growth is being satisfied with where you've reached. But we, as children, what we used to think was, oh, this is life. Even in your 20s, you think this is life and this is how it's going to be forever. And then suddenly you see that, hey, you're 40 years old and things, so much has changed. And where did the years go? But if you focus on the continuous learning and growth, then you will actually be able to direct your growth. And you won't say that, oh, if I attain this position, when I get married, then I'll be good. When I have a child, then I'll be good. That is living statically from one point to the other. When you get there and you've achieved that, then you say, oh, what's the next point? What is the next thing to do? Organic growth says life is a beautiful mess. So in spite of all this, you will realize that as you are growing, you are meeting challenges, things are changing. You get there, something else changes. And organic growth demands that you ask yourself, what are the possibilities? How better can it get? What are the alternatives? So organic growth is a discernment process. Whilst you are growing, you're thinking about, where am I? Where do I want to go? What steps do I have to take? And things like that. And it's also at a place where when you make a mistake, you don't blame yourself, you don't berate yourself, you don't judge another, but you have compassion on yourself. It is learning. So some examples of my organic growth. This is not the first time I'm doing this for online or in a few hours. I've done it before. In fact, these slides I'm using from a previous workshop I ran. But this almost everybody here on this webinar is new to me. So it's also learning, it's also growth. So I'll never say I'm an expert because I do not know the people I'm dealing with. Each time it's new on me. I mean, here I am running a workshop and someone is calling me. I'm intentional where we don't have water. We haven't had water for ages. So somebody is bringing me some containers for water and I'm getting interrupted. And you can never say you are perfect at doing something or you're an expert because you are constantly in a process of growth. And that is what growth is about. Even when you are president of Ghana, you are still learning. You are still in a process of growth. You haven't arrived. The day you decide that I have arrived, I've learned it all, I'm perfect, that's the day you start to die. I say to people that nobody is perfect. The day you reach perfection is the day your body dies and you become a soul or a spirit. You cannot be perfect. So it's a privilege to see growth taking place. Hopefully, by the time I have run this workshop, you'll ask me questions or you make comments, and that would be growth for me and growth for you because once again, we have run it online and there's been change in people's lives. So how does growth happen? It happens when we move. You become aware, first of all, of where you are. Then you start moving towards your vision. But to move towards your vision, you must change. There must be transformation. And that transformation will give you the growth. The growth will be to take action. When you transform, you can't just say, I'm transformed, and you are not doing anything with that transformation. You must take action. You must take a step. You must take a risk. Most times, we are aware, we know we want to work towards our vision, but the thing that stops us is that risk, taking that step, being afraid that, hey, if I take this step, what will happen? So this is the process of growth. You must be aware, first of all, of where you are. You must know where you want to go, your vision. You go through a certain transformation. There are things you have to change. Things I give the example, if you want to go to Accra from Teshnungwa, you must be first aware of where you are. You are in Teshnungwa. You want to go to Accra. So you can visualize where Accra is, the distance, all that. But you must transform. You cannot keep sitting here and say, I want to be in Accra. You've got to get out of your house. If you have a car, you've got to sit in it and drive. If you don't have a car, you want to get Okada, you have to walk to the junction or Trotro or taxi or Uber or whatever. You've got to do something. You must take action. You must take that risk or you must take a step. That is what growth is about. So it's the same thing that is being shown on this slide. Where am I now? Where do I want to go? What do I need? That transformation is, what do I need to change? And what is my next growth step? Most times we want to grow in leaps and bounds. And in fact, that is how life looks to us. Because you think, oh, I've arrived and you are sitting in place. Then suddenly it's, I'm 25 years old and what's my next step? But if you are thinking about your next immediate step day to day, and as we say, one day at a time, you will realize that growth is actually happening. And what we say is whether you are aware of it, whether you are conscious of it, whether you are intentional about it or not, growth will happen. And that is when sometimes the weeds come and choke your seeds. So you must be intentional about it. You must be aware of where you are and where you want to go. Scientifically, this has been researched and it has been proven that we grow in 7 areas of our lives. And these 7 areas are our emotions, our relationships, our sexuality, our body, our money, our work, and our spirituality. And most times when we talk about our sexuality, people jump, but you can also use another word, either your sensualities or your passion. These are areas in which we grow. We must grow all the time. Your emotions, I give an example, like when you were a child, the things that used to irritate, tantrums, children throw tantrums at everything. They don't like the smell of their food, they are throwing a tantrum. They are feeling hot, they throw a tantrum. But as you grow, I mean, you'll be sweating, but you're not throwing a tantrum anymore because you're growing. You have a way of dealing with these things differently as you grow. And in fact, you realize that even as a child, even as an adult, your emotions, the way you handle your emotions change over time. It's the same with your relationships. Your relationships change and grow. And when I talk about relationships, I'm talking about all your family, at work, your platonic and romantic relationships, all of them, it changes and grows. If it doesn't change and grow, it dies. So your siblings, for example, at some point, you're not that little, you're not that last born anymore. Even if you are, you probably are taking on certain responsibilities. The relationship between amongst you people changes. Your sensibilities or your sexuality or your passion for certain things change. Your passions grow. They wane, they ebb, they die. Then new passions grow. Your body change. I mean, tell me about it. We women know more than anybody how our body changes and grows. Our money, our finances change and grow. Our work, the same. You may be, I mean, I was talking recently about my first job when I was working in SC Johnson. Whereas what I did at SC Johnson feeds into what I do now, because I'm managing a brand. Excuse me. And that is what I did then. It's grown, it's changed. And then, of course, your spirituality changes, your relationship with your God. We are Christians, so sometimes I have a mixed group of all kinds of faiths, and so we call it the universe. But God is the universe, and that also changes and it grows. I mean, when you're a child, you're baptized, but by the time you're a teen, you're confirmed if you're Methodist like me or Orthodox like me. And then it changes. Your relationship with your God also grows. So we go in all these parts. You must know, I told you, we spoke about the awareness. Know your growing edge. It's your personal compass. Your growing edge is where you are growing from. If you look at that picture over there, at each stage, that seed is in a new place. And believe it or not, each one of us, each day, are in a new place. I mean, we say the mercies of God are new every morning. You must see your life and your growth as that. Every morning you wake up, you are waking up to new beginnings. What you were today, you are not today. And we normally are not aware of that. But we are. We see, like I said, we see it's a leaps and bounds. I mean, a typical example I would give was, I still used to want to, baby my son, mollycoddle my son. He's 21. Then one day he called me and said, "Listen, mom, I'm not in high school anymore. Stop treating me like that." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I have just realized that I have grown into a woman or a mother of a 21-year-old and no longer an 11-year-old or a 9-year-old. So each day, there are new parts of us opening up to the world, seeing the light of day for the first time with challenges and excitements and fears. So your growing edge is where you are growing from as at now. So for you, those on the webinar right now, you must be asking yourself, so in my growth, where am I right now? I'm learning new things. I'm learning about growth in my relationships, in my emotions, in my in money. That is where I am right now. each day, as we learn, we open ourselves up to a new place of growth. So these are just examples. Sometimes we must come into touch with our true feelings, with our emotions. Why am I angry all the time? Or why do I have joy all the time? Relationships, committing to authentic. These are just examples. Each of us should look at our relationships and where it's new. One example I give about relationships is if you're married. I mean, before that, you were in a relationship, you were boyfriend and girlfriend. Then you got married. Then you're husband and wife. It's a new place. Then you have a child. You are no longer just husband and wife. You're husband and father and mother to a child, a baby. And not only that, now you have in-laws and all that. So the relationship growing each day. Whilst we do not consciously look at it like that, you must look at it and say, this relationship is morphing into something else. Whereas there were two of us, now there's a third of us. There's also grandpa, grandma on this side, if your parents are still here with us. And on the other side, the same. So it's changing and changing all the time. Our sexuality, discovering what pleases us, what gives us pleasure or joy, what ignites our passion, what excites me. Sometimes, there's some people, some things excite them when you're looking at them and thinking, why does this excite this person so much? But you have no idea what energy is fueling that excitement. And it's unique to each one of us, our body. We must learn to love and care for it. Sometimes that's where people are. I mean, December, I play tennis and I walk 3 times a week in my neighborhood. And all of December, or most of December, I didn't do it until I just started again this morning. So where am I with my body right now? I am back on my exercise routine, trying to do my 3 times a week and play tennis twice a week. Let's see how I do it. And there are so many other things. You cut out some kinds of food because you want to lose weight, or you fast, or so your body, you have to decide how you want to learn and care for it. That is the edge on which you're on. Well, which edge am I on? I'm on the fasting edge right now. And on and on. You can define for yourself what's your what growing edge you're on. Then you believe that you can create greater prosperity in your money. I am at that stage also now where that will probably do with my work, where my business, I sell Jomi, my business is growing, and I'm looking for more outlets or looking to see if I can get more exports. So that is where I am. And then your spirituality, developing a personal spiritual path. Yes. I saw Esther here. What's happened to the word family? I don't know. I didn't see it yesterday, but maybe one of the commitments was for me to be more regular with the word family, or to be more regular with my Thursday morning mass at the United Church, like I told you, I'm at State, or developing a personal spiritual path. And it's personal to me. So these are the edges in which you feel yourself. You have got to decide which edge you are on. Is there anybody who has a question? Is there anybody who wants to tell us which growing edge they are on in any of these 7 areas of growth? Anybody? No? I don't want to mention any names. And we've grown. When I started, there were 27 of us. Now we are 62. Anybody? Okay, I'll go.
I want to just say something that thank you very much for sharing the 7 areas. On my personal reflection last year, I added 2 to it, and I added leisure to the areas of growth, because I realized I really don't sit down to plan how to have. So in my 9 areas of growth, I added leisure. And I also added personal development. I realized that I have to be intentional about personal growth. So I just want to just add it up. Those of us on the page, I think I even put that we should be able to build our goals around the areas of growth so that at the end of every process, like each month, we can assess how we are growing. And so I just wanted to chip in that. Thank you so much.
You're actually okay. You know when we break out from stress, everything stress into this something and it's because I have drinks. So so your growth is your vision, where you want to be, put together with your growing age. So I have the vision there. I want to go to Accra, and my growing age is where I am right now. And the vision, the aliveness of the growing age, the awareness and the aliveness put together with the vision makes you grow. Because if you say, here I am, and where I want to be is in Accra, you put them together and you're getting your growth. That is what is going to motivate you to take that step. So your core beliefs would drive, your core beliefs are what you drive your growth, and your core beliefs around you, how you think and behave, they are unconscious and examine. And especially for those who work with these parts, there's a lot of influence from our parents, siblings, teachers, class, agency, life, community, life experiences, and media. You have to be a certain way. Oh, but you have to be like this. Oh, but this is the way it's supposed to be. The most of our actions today are determined by the beliefs we took on at a young age. And it is continuously being reshaped. How people see you when you go to work, if you are in a certain way, what people will say, what your family says, what the media says, and all that. It's continuously being influenced. I have a friend who talks about her church, and I won't say what church it is, but it would seem as if there's a lot of control about the way they must live their lives. And sometimes you will find that you are whatever vision you have for your life, you are cutting it short, or you are killing it because of fear of what you will be said about you by these people, by shared by your co-workers, what will people say? So your core beliefs are the soil in which you plant your vision. This is where I want to be. Can I be there with these beliefs that I have? Some of them are negative and pathology oriented. When they're negative, it's because it happened to someone before, somebody tried to do it and it didn't go right, and therefore we think, hey, if I also try it in that, if it does, they'll say, I told you so, and this and this and that. So we hold back on what our vision is, or we hold back on that growth towards our vision. So your core beliefs are very important in influencing your growth. So what we believe. One of the 5 core beliefs that drive, this is also scientifically researched, 5 core beliefs that drive our growth are self-responsibility, self-esteem, trust in the universe, positive attitude, and flowing with change. This is some of the value, core are some of the values that drive us. So self-responsibility, are you a learner? You take responsibility to you. When you decide to take that step towards your vision, towards your dream. You want things to happen, you take that risk. If it doesn't go right, are you willing to say, I took that risk, I am responsible for going wrong? Or are you to say, oh, this person said I should do it, and you see now that I'm most of us, your workers, for example, when I'm working with my workers, say, have you done this? And you say, well, this one didn't do this. So it has, if you knew that that person had to do something, maybe sure that you don't have to blame them for you not doing work. So are you willing to take responsibility? Because without self-responsibility, there is no growth. So the relationship, leadership, and responsibility is, where do I place my attention? Do I blame? Do I move towards learning and growth? Am I willing to say, this is what I did wrong, or this is the step I did? How do I take the right step or go back and do the right thing? Self-esteem. Do you believe in yourself and fulfilling of your dreams? If you say to yourself that I want to do this by July or June, by the end of the first half of the year, do you feel confident that you can indeed do it? Do you believe in all your abilities, or you are saying it and then you are saying, yeah, July, will I be able to? Do I have the money? Do I have the means? You must have that, yes, I can attitude. Do you believe that you have what it takes to be successful in life? Do you believe that you're a lovable person? Do you believe that you're worthy of all life has to offer? Because you see, like social media, that the average Ghanaian has sadly low self-esteem, and therefore we cede a lot of responsibility to our leaders and to our politicians and to our church, and to, we don't believe that we can and we are able. Do you trust in the universe? Do you believe there's a higher intelligence in the universe that cares for your well-being? Do you believe in God? A lot of us, all of us on this platform, say we believe in God, but we make our problems bigger than God. We focus on the weeds. We say, we don't trust that if something goes a certain way, probably that is how it was meant to be, so that I'm supposed to learn something, so that I'm supposed to take something away. Do you believe that you have a supportive God who is the best for you? Or do you think that, oh, you the municipalities more than we are God? So do you actually